Hi! So apparently I've decided that I am not going to do videos at my desk without first looking like your guidance counselor here to talk to you about your college admissions. Anyway, hi! Today what I wanted to do was kind of give you guys a tour of my 2021 planner and journal setup. I've been addicted to watching those videos lately because I love seeing how other people organize their lives, and while I am the farthest from the most organized person that you might know, I wanted to share what I've got going on. For my birthday, I got a traveler's notebook, and even though I've only had it for a few weeks, it has become my favorite thing. I am pretty much attached to this all the time at my desk. I look for excuses to write in it. I love writing in it. The writing experience in a traveler's notebook with its inserts is phenomenal, and I'll talk more about that later. I kind of wanted to talk about this because I'm so obsessed with this, and I have gotten some questions about my planner and everything. I'll give you guys a sort of brief overview of that. I hope you guys enjoy. The disclaimers are only that there might be some outside noise and I might turn on the fan later. But otherwise, let's get started with looking at what I'm going to do in 2021 with my planners and journals. What I actually use as a planner for my everyday life. So this is a Muji free schedule note planner. It's an A5 size journal, and it has a plastic cover. It has a really nice brown neutral cover to it. As you can see, I've covered with a lot of stickers. This is from my best friend. It says my personal coping mechanism. I think it's hilarious. It's one of the very first stickers that I stuck onto this. On the inside, this is kind of what it looks like when I haven't filled it out at all. It has the days of the week on one side, and then just a blank grid on the other side. And at the very beginning of the journal, there is this monthly layout. It's blank originally, but I went ahead and put in all of the numbers for the 2021 months. I like having my months set up in advance so that I can just fill them out with important dates later. This is a completed week, actually. As you can see, I have all of my to-do on this side and all of my extra notes and whatnot and decorations on this side. It basically goes that I just divide this page into two different parts, and all of my work and school to-dos go on the left side, and all of my personal to-dos like chores and scheduling appointments and that kind of thing go on the right side. And then I just track other things, like here's some video ideas that I have here, some mail that I have on the way. If I have notes from a meeting and I don't have any paper on hand, sometimes I'll just write it down here in this journal. Here's what a week looks like before I've touched it. So this is the first full week in January, 2 weeks from now. There's pretty much nothing there. I've just decorated it with some stickers because I like seeing these stickers and brightening up my week and my planner with some happy things before I start filling it up with all of the dreaded tasks that I have to do throughout the days. And I've been using this planner since, I guess, the beginning of September, I believe, when I started school. It's been a huge help. I used to have a giant moleskin planner that really worked for me when I first moved out of my house. It helped me a lot with staying organized and basically just being an adult. But it was way too big, and I wanted a more compact planner that could definitely fit in a purse if I needed to go out. So the A5 works a lot better for me. This will likely be my daily driver in terms of a planner for as long as I can stretch it into 2021. I really like this so far and have no intentions of deviating from this planner. Now, the other Muji journal that I use is this, I believe this is a B5 size journal. It actually has like thick lines going horizontally, and then vertically it has dotted lines, so it's like a pseudo grid. I once upon a time also had a bullet journal, but in a bigger size, and I just don't use this anymore. And I will talk about that more later when I talk about my traveler's notebook. But I'm still using this journal mostly because I only use it to do my daily gratitude. Here's my gratitude from last week. If you can, please don't try to read it. It's just what I do every single morning. I list things I'm grateful for, things that I think would make the day great, so many tasks that would really make me happy to complete, and then daily affirmation to sort of bolster my confidence going into the day. One of the big reasons I stopped using my bullet journal is because, as you can see, the bleed is really bad. I love using my fountain pens in my journals, especially when I'm reflecting or gratitude journaling. So I cannot stand it when there's bleeding. It makes it really hard for me to enjoy the process. So I have about half of the journal left, and it took me maybe 3 or 4 months to fill up this much, so I will try to fill out this journal as much as I can just because I don't want to waste it just for gratitude. And then once I'm done with this one, I will move on to a traveler's notebook insert to do my gratitude. Moving into my traveler's notebook setup, I have completely abandoned this bullet journal. Again, the ghosting is really awful, not only for fountain pens, but anything like a mild liner or even some gel pens ghost really badly in this paper. It served its purpose. Its original purpose was to help me with my mental health, and it did. For the longest time, I had been ogling a traveler's notebook because they sell them at local stores. I asked for one for my birthday, and my partner was the most gracious person ever, and he got me one in the beautiful brown leather cover. So I have completely abandoned this journal. I might pick it up again one day. It's definitely good for nostalgia. For now, I am retiring it. Moved on to my traveler's notebook. If you haven't heard of the traveler's notebook system before, it's essentially a leather cover that you can put inserts in and customize it to your bidding. I was really interested in the traveler's notebook setup because of the inserts. I think it's really awesome that you can take out inserts when you're finished or when you just want to put it aside for some time. And I also was very interested in using this sort of longer and less wide format for a journal, and I have been loving it so far. One thing that really surprised me that I didn't know is that traveler's notebook inserts that come from the traveler's notebook company have a special paper called Tomoe River paper, and it is especially good for fountain pens. Like, the writing experience is amazing, it writes super smooth, but also there's absolutely no ghosting, and so I fell in love with this nearly immediately. My setup for my inserts currently follows very closely what Serica Studio does. The first things I have in my journal are a craft folder with a graph paper insert from Traveler's Notebook Company. I have this sticker comes from Mars. Once again, I'll link their information down below. And then I just have some of my smaller sticker sets in the front and in the back of the craft folder. The craft folder goes around my current reading log. This sticker is from Apple Cheeks. This is from a Dymo label maker. I have pretty much completely transferred all of the reading log-esque stuff from my bullet journal into this journal. So I have my quote-unquote TBR. I don't like calling it a TBR, and yet I call it a TBR. My reading tracker and my reading log. So this has all the books I've read and their page numbers and my star rating. As you guys know, I like to track that kind of information and sum it up at the end of the month with numbers. As you can see, I'm using the real estate of the page a lot more than I was with my other journal. And here's what some blank spreads look like. So I've already set up my January spreads for my reading log just because I got really excited and I got some cute new stickers in. The next two journals are journals that I write rigorously in. So for my reading journal, I will check in every now and then and just update it maybe once daily. Whereas my reading journal and my life journal, I will sit down and spend maybe a half an hour to an hour every now and then journaling in it. For my reading journal, you have definitely seen on my Instagram stories, I originally was intending to write in it daily as a way to kind of update myself and remind myself where I am in my reading progress, but it quickly turned into a place where I could vent about bookish stuff and also write book reviews. So this page right here, I'm not going to show you because I know you guys can read my handwriting, but it was just a rant that I went on about consumerism versus the bookish community. And then I started doing these bookish review pages, and I was having so much fun with them that I thought to myself, I should just make this a thing. Like, this is what this reading journal should primarily be for. Every time after I finish a book, I will essentially write down all of my thoughts, essentially just celebrate the fact that I enjoyed a book, get all my thoughts down for reviews later, or maybe if someone asks me what I liked about a book, refer back to these pages to tell them what I enjoyed. But also it's just really therapeutic to sit down after reading a book and get all of your thoughts down on a page, to practice some decorating and calligraphy and just have that creative outlet. I have really been enjoying that, especially since I've been reading a lot of books lately. It's easy for them all to run together, but by journaling I kind of get rid of that. Oh, I think I forgot to mention, sticker on the cover here is from Thanks Ju. I will also link her information down in the description. The last journal that I currently have in here is my life journal. I won't show you too much of this, but it's essentially where I plan on just writing long form, no decorations or anything. If I'm feeling some sort of way and I need to vent or whatever, I will turn to this journal and get my feelings out. When I'm feeling strong emotions, I turn to this notebook and I try to get all my thoughts down, and it really does help because you do think through the emotion. You don't always feel better afterwards, I think, but knowing why you're feeling what you're feeling has always helped me to come to terms with my feelings, to accept them, and so then I can either do something about it or move on or just make sure that I know exactly where I'm at in my feelings. I really recommend having a life journal, a place where you are very unrestricted in your thoughts and your feelings. It has been such a healing experience for me, and so I think it could be a really good experience for other people. That's pretty much my planner setup for next year. It's nothing really fancy, but it gets me through all of the craziness of life. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this satiates your curiosity if you had any, or inspires you to maybe get a journal or a planner for next year, because you know, we're still in a pandemic, especially if you're in the US. You guys were definitely not near the end in any way. I highly recommend getting a journal to help you make sense of the days and help you record what's going on, and again, just to make sense of what you're feeling. Thank you for humoring me if you've watched it this far. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time.